Across to Peter Mathews, who is a professor of political science at Cypress College, and he joins us now from Los Angeles. Great to have you on the show, Peter. Your impressions of this G20 Summit, the 2 days, what has stood out for you?
Well, so many different things, but the main focus is the economic one on trade, and big difference in approach between the U.S. and China. The U.S. has always said there should be less government involvement, more free markets. China is a socialist country. It's promoted industrial policy very successfully to promote products around the world. And when China first invited Boeing to come into China, they said, look, we need some of that technology to be transferred here because we don't want to just become factory workers building the Boeing tail section. We want to know how to, the engineers should be trained how to do it. So they, as a developing country, they needed to have technology to some extent, and they were successful in doing so. And I think the U.S. is concerned that China may be leapfrogging ahead on its influence economically throughout the world. And I think that the United States should not be so concerned about it and should work with China and stop protectionism. It's wrong for Trump to have put those tariffs on the steel and aluminum from China and then had in fact retaliatory action. It can really hurt the world economy overall, and the U.S. economy is already hurting right now. And China also is hurting.
And very quickly, on the subject of Turkey and the U.S., a lot of attention was on that bilateral meeting. Your impressions?
Well, it's quite interesting because it seemed that in the end, Mr. Trump tried to work things out. At least it did not to say that Turkey, was misunderstood. It had to actually try to get the Patriot missiles. He said, explained why that we should not be so harsh. He didn't say anything about sanctions exactly. He didn't assure President Erdogan about the sanctions. But it seems to me that maybe there'll be less of a bite in that, and the relationship might get a bit better as to how it transpired.
And tomorrow, President Trump, he's going to be at the demilitarized zone. He's talked a lot about possibly meeting Kim Jong-un. What do you think is going to happen there? Will they meet, and what are you expecting?
It's very hard to say if they'll meet or not. I mean, I think he's trying to make an effort to restart the talks and show that the relationship is not over and that they have to still meet once again to try to work things out with Kim Jong-un and with North Korea. So we'll have to see, because last minute something could happen and could be called off. And I got a feeling that Trump would like to meet. It would be a big coup for him to show that he's actively seeking to work out this deal with the North Korean leader on nuclear weapons and disarmament. But North Korean leader wants the sanctions lifted. That's the major difference they have. And he also wants assurance that his regime will be safe. So they have to work out some type of diplomatic agreement on that. And that's going to be very tough.
All right.
We'll have to see what happens when he meets with him tomorrow, if he does.
If he does, indeed. Thank you so much for fielding a question on that too. Peter Mathews, always a pleasure to speak to you here on CRT World. Thank you.